So again, I'm Cindy Carson, and I'm going to be talking about online coaching. So the coaching work that I'm talking about has been a product of two different research grants that we have done here that have been a joint adventure between the University of Idaho and the University of Rochester here at the Warner School. And both those were funded by NSF. And we were working with rural teachers and now with rural coaches. And we were really trying to come together and figure out content-focused coaching and what that was and how we could support teachers with an online model of professional development that included online coaching. So, and just to be clear, we always need to be very clear about what we're talking about when I'm talking about content-focused coaching. So we are talking about one-on-one coaching with someone who is considered a content expert. And in the study that we were doing was in mathematics, and we worked with middle grades teachers. And so each teacher had a coach that they worked with, a mentor coach. And then in the second project, each coach was learning how to coach teachers in their own building, and they also had a mentor coach. And we're all focused around this idea of content-focused coaching, and which has three main kind of focuses. And so first is focusing on that mathematical content and how students engage with that content to learn. And so working then with helping teachers select good, high cognitive demand tasks. And then how do they use the evidence that students are showing as they're engaging with these activities to think about how they need to, come up with how they're going to do their instruction. What do they need to change? What's working? And if coaching is kind of focused coaching is working well, or whatever we'd say, you would see some outcomes. And one would be the coach or the teacher, depending on what level you're talking about, are going to have an increase in their mathematical content knowledge, but also in their pedagogical content knowledge and their ability to use ambitious teaching practices with students. So it's kind of the focus of what content-focused coaching is. It's different than cognitive coaching or a more generalized instructional coach. So we always set up that definition first. But what I'm going to show you here on this slide was the difference between our in-person coaching model and our online coaching model. And so in person, we always followed a plan of having a planning discussion, then when the lesson is implemented, and then a debriefing discussion. When we came to moving this online, we added a few more pieces to it. And some of those pieces were done synchronously with coach and teacher together, or coach and coach together, or asynchronously with the different actors doing activities on their own. But thinking back to what Jen was just talking about with the building community, we always started our relationships with an initial meeting so that the coach and whoever they were coaching, they got together and started to get to know each other and started building that relationship work. Coaching is very personalized, and it really requires a tremendous amount of vulnerability on the teacher or the coach who's learning to coach on their behalf. So building that relationship up front was really important. But then for us, the teacher would then complete a lesson plan and share that with the coach. Then they have a planning discussion together. And then the difference is our teachers implemented their lessons on their own, and they recorded them. And then the teacher watched the video and left comments in the video. And then the coach would watch the video and read the teacher's annotations, comments, and then leave their own. And then they'd meet again for a debriefing discussion. And so what we have learned about this model so far is that it makes coaching much more accessible for teachers, especially teachers in rural districts where they would have a lot of geographic barriers to accessing like mathematics experts for their content-focused coaching. A lot of times we have an instructional coach that services a whole building or even a whole district, and they have knowledge across content areas. And this was for very specified looking at specific content. The scheduling is much easier for online coaching. And so therefore, sometimes it's much more cost effective for districts to use. It depends on the situation. But the biggest thing we've learned is that the technology, specifically the lesson videos and using the annotations or the commenting in that video, has kind of developed a new mode for teacher learning about their own work, or even the coaches learning about their ability to coach. But having the video and having the commenting within that whole structure has really made a significant difference.